Hi friends, welcome to the new series on data analytics. I am Dr. Sandeep, your mentor, welcoming you. The data analytics, we are looking mainly at a course prescribed by JNTUH, and it's in the third year, first semester, as a professional elective, and the code for that is CS513PE. This mainly has got 5 units. In the first unit, we need to look at what the data management is, how the data is managed, what is data, definition of the data, the architecture of the data management system, and all details are going to be studied in this first unit. The second unit is dedicated to data analytics. That's various tools available to analyze the data, because manually analyzing the data is out of question, so it has to be done automatically. So some tools are required. So in this second unit, we are going to see in detail the various tools available, their pros and cons, what all the analytics we can apply, what all the issues we come across, and how to deal with that using the various tools is what we look at in this unit. Then we try to find answers for our questions from the machine. So machine needs to answer our questions because we have infinitely large data. So this whole process, what we call, is a data oriented process. So that means we are trying to get our answers from the data. So we feed the data to the machine, and the machine should answer us looking at the data. And the data is not a small in size, it's millions or billions of data. That's a number of rows are in terms of millions or billions, and the number of columns or the attributes of the data may be in terms of hundreds of thousands, or even sometimes tens of thousands. So definitely human cannot work on this, so it has to be done by a machine. So there's something we need machine to assist us, and in the initial days we try to make machine assist us by programming it, and while programming we need to understand what the problem is, and then we need to decide what the solution is and how the problem can be solved, the root of solving. That's a path from problem to solution we need to find first in our version, and then finally convert into machine's version, which we call a program. A program has to be written, and writing a program for a complicated task is just becoming impossible, because human in by himself is greedy in nature. So if one problem is solved, go for a next higher level of problem. So there's something called abstraction. So with time, we would like to solve bigger and bigger problems. So therefore, there a stage has come where we couldn't make a program to machine to solve the problem. So we can't program the machine to solve the problem. So we have reached that stage where we can't make machine to work according to our way of programming, because we couldn't write program for that. Then the next step we thought was, as we learned to solve the problem, why not make machine to learn to solve the problem? So in this regard, the new term machine learning is coined. That's part of a big domain, which is artificial intelligence. So the whole intelligence we are trying to imitate by a machine, intelligence of a human being imitated by machine, that's in an artificial sense, so we call that artificial intelligence. In that we want machine to learn the way human learn and then solve the problem for us. So it's a machine's problem how it learns. So we just give them big data available to the whatever data we have, because now we are working on data driven systems, so we have data with us. A lot of data is made available, and every instant of time the whole world is generating new and new data, and this data is available, so we can make use of this data and come out with some solutions of our problems. So in this regard, we have machine learning. In this machine learning, one part of that is what we call regression, where the input and output of the data is known. That means for a given problem, we have already solved it. So the input outputs are available. So these inputs and outputs are fed to the machine, and then just say you learn from this. How you learn is your problem, but yes, you learn from this, and in future when I ask any question to you, you give me correct answer according to this data. Yeah, that's what we have in the third unit, that's regression. And then in the fourth unit we are going to look at problems which are about segmentation. That means when you're talking about problems, then the problems may have multiple solutions. That's you need to classify whether it belongs to this category or that category. So the classification is required. So for classification, we need segmentation. So there are segmentation techniques or classification techniques we need to understand. And then there is a special domain which we call time series, because the data, there are two types of data, one which is independent of time and the other one is dependent on time. So the data which is dependent on time has to be processed in that series only. It can't be manipulated. You can't just move the things ahead and backward. So they have to be processed according to the sequence only. So sequential processing is required for that. So we have specific tools for working with such data which are called time series methods. And finally, in the last unit, we have some data visualization techniques, because the standard or famous saying says that one picture is worth thousands of words. So instead of explaining about the data, if you can present it in the form of a picture, definitely more information, more insight is found on it. So there are many visualization techniques that can be made use of to understand the insight of the data to start with, and at the end to understand the overall situation. So you can put all the data at one point, one as an image or something, so you can visualize the whole scenario on one scene. So that makes the overall situation handy, and the things become more easier to handle. So there are many such techniques available to make the data what the information is the data is trying to give us. So if you want to put that in the form of a picture, so the things become more easier. So that's what is the topic we are going to look in the fifth unit. Now coming to the objectives of the course. So it's First thing is to explore the fundamental concepts of the data analytics. What all the fundamental concepts are there? So we need to explore them regarding about the data, about the quality of the data, about the collection method of the data, and all such related issues are to be explored. Then we need to learn the principles and methods of statistical analysis that are available and which are helpful for analyzing our data. Then other objective is to discover interesting patterns and analyze supervised or unsupervised models and estimate the accuracy of the algorithms or these models. So there are various types of models which are part of machine learning, and for building these models we need to of course find some patterns in the data. So looking at the patterns in the data, you can understand what is happening, what is what, and all that. And from that knowledge, you can build the models and make sure that these models are highly accurate. So we should be able to estimate the accuracy of these algorithms and compare the algorithms. So what type of algorithms are useful for what type of problems, and what are not useful, what are having adverse effect. So all pros and cons we need to look at for all types of models, all types of problems we need to look at. So that's another objective we have. Then the next objective is to understand the various search methods and visualization techniques available uh, with us, so that we can search what is needed from this ocean of data. And then in order to search, we need to know how these visualization techniques come to our aid. So all these things we need to understand. So that's objectives. And when finally the course outcomes. So once this course is completed, the student should be able to understand what is data management, what the data architecture is, and all. That's what we get in first unit. The student should be able to understand the various data sources, the various processing types, and all that. So that's also part of first unit. After the course, the students should be able to understand the tools and applications of data modeling techniques, the various tools available, and how they can be applied in modeling the data. And the student should be able to understand the need and type of regression techniques. So that's a part of third unit. And in fourth unit, we make sure that the student will be able to understand and apply various learning techniques. And finally, in the fifth unit, after fifth unit is completed, the student should be able to understand the need and types of data visualization techniques. So that's what we have in reserve for this course. So that's beginning of the course. So please continue watching this course, and kindly subscribe to the channel. And if you like, please hit the like button and make sure to hit the bell icon, so that when the new videos, when they are uploaded, you will be informed as in when they are uploaded. And if you find the content useful, so please make sure to tell your friends also to go through and subscribe. Thank you.